we actually divided up. We understand, and this is not something that a human directly did. We used the internet to figure out this information. Samsung, it's very important to, they're very important in the mobile phone field, which is perceptive because the majority of Samsung's profit comes from mobile phones. We see that they're in the news a lot. People write reviews about them. They're covered in the technology press. A second one for mobile phones, phone accessories, and then finally retailers that sell Samsung products. And then for a tablet, we actually built sort of the same thing but made it swipey. So this has a different brand name. It's called Isaac, I-Z-I-K. You can download this for the iPhone or for Android. And it presents sort of the same information, but in a way that's very tablet-oriented. By the way, do you notice this thing here? It's the shopping category, and it shows mainly widescreen TVs. This is an example of how an innovative product that's new can be very different from existing products. So this carousel of products is very different from the sort of ads that Google or Bing would show you for this style of query. And it's something that we can do and fit in with our results because we have this very different way of showing things. So it turns out, in the end, right, I showed you the complicated diagram where we had a database, we invented new database technology, we crawled the web, we built an index. In the end, it turns out that the technology that we invented to categorize or cluster the results before presenting it to you really depends upon having our own index of the web. So we have these 2,000 categories that were human curated by our librarians who worked for our company. And we figured out this technology we call the digital inference graph. You always have to make up some silly name for a technology, and it doesn't really mean anything. And what it does is it classifies your query into a category, one or more categories, based on not the exact words that you typed, but what the internet thinks about those words. Okay, so if I type in a query like Galaxy Ruby Wine, Galaxy Ruby Wine, what is that about? And so you might think that that's a query about open source software. Well, why would you think that? So Wine is the name of a Windows emulator that's open source. Ruby is the name of a computer language which is open source. I don't know how Galaxy fits with that. But that's actually not what it's about. Galaxy Ruby Wine is a description of a Samsung product that's available in the color Ruby Wine. So it's very important not to use words in isolation, right? Or even use the words together, right? Knowing that Ruby Wine is actually either a color of wine or a color that fashion designers use. It's not enough for you to characterize the query. We actually ask the internet and use a combination of the 2,000 categories that our librarians built and what the internet thinks about a topic in order to accurately classify what's going on. So this is our secret sauce. It's a really neat computation. It runs on a very small number of servers in only 10 milliseconds per query, so we can run 100 of these in a second. And it does very well for ambiguous queries. So we had no idea on the day we first launched to the public that this is where we would end up innovating. This was a surprise to us in hindsight, but it's almost as if we were building towards this final stage from the first day that we started building technology. So what's the end of the story? So I don't really know what the end of the story is yet. We're a 6-year-old startup. By this point, we've raised a total of $60 million. We're in a very hard market. It may still be true that we would take $1 billion to build a viable search engine. We don't know, because we're not profitable yet. So we're 6 years old, and we're still having fun. So thank you very much.